Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear students, you're welcome back to the e-learning portal of CTY Model College, Ibadan. This is JS2 Social Studies for week 9, presented by Adirogba. We are still on harmful traditional practices. We looked at some examples or types of harmful traditional practices at the last lesson. So today we shall look at the consequences of harmful traditional practices as well as measures to prevent harmful traditional practices. So let's start. Whenever they occur, harmful traditional practices rob people of their childhood and human rights. They deny them the chance to determine their own future, and they threaten their physical, sexual, and psychological, as well as social well-being of individuals. So you can see, harmful traditional practices is a crime to humanity. It deprives them of their childhood, their human rights. It denies them the chance to determine their own future. It threatens their physical, their sexual, their psychological, and their social well-being. Now, let's look at some of these consequences one after the other. Don't forget, the consequences could be health-wise. It affects the health, the physical well-being, the social well-being, the psychological well-being. So we'll look at some of the examples of such consequences. 1. The practice of wife sharing, for instance, encourage the spread of sexually transmitted diseases such as HIV/AIDS. Don't forget, one of the harmful traditional practices is wife sharing, whereby a man offers his wife to his visitors. So this can increase or encourage the spread of sexually transmitted diseases such as HIV/AIDS. Another one is female genital mutilation or female circumcision. We have discussed it at the last lesson, and we are made to know that it does not have any health implication, as in it does not have any value it adds to the health of females. Hence, it becomes a crime for whoever practices it. So female genital mutilation can lead to serious health complications, including prolonged bleeding, infection, infertility, or even death. It could make some people become barren, and it could pose problem during childbirth, and eventually some people have lost their lives in the process. 3. Victims of harmful traditional practices suffer from emotional trauma, depression, fear, anxiety, shock, mental imbalance. 4. Some preference, that is, preferring putting male children above female children, superiority of male children over female children. Some preference results in low value accorded to women by the society, as well as low self-esteem among females. They make females see themselves as being inferior. So they have encouraged low self-esteem in females. And even the society they do not attach the necessary value to women. They don't see women as the human being that they really are. They see us as objects of adverts, objects of sexual satisfaction, and so on. Women are being used just like slaves, or just any objects that you buy in the market and make use of. Girls married as children, that's number 5. Girls married as children are more likely to drop out of school and become pregnant as teenagers when they face increased risk of dying during pregnancy. So some of these teenagers during pregnancy or childbirth, they may face some risk. Some of them die in the process because they were too young to actually carry this womanhood responsibilities, to bear these responsibilities of womanhood. So when some of them face the risk of dying during pregnancy or childbirth. Infants born to teenage mothers are also more likely to be stillborn or die in the first month of life. Though Islam's definition of a woman or a matured woman may be different from the definition that the Western ideology advocates. In the Western world, they believe if you're not 18 years, you're not matured enough. But sometimes, or we all know that most times, maturity does not come with age. Islam focuses on the maturity of the child. Once the child has developed the necessary features and is matured, has reached puberty, a child can be married, though with her consent. Should I say child? Not child any longer. Any female that has reached puberty and has developed the necessary features and is matured psychologically, such a person can get married. Such a person is not regarded as a child again. Such a female can get married based on her consent, seeking her consent to do so. But for females that were forced into marriage when they were children, when they were too young, when they were immature, when they were very young, too young, psychologically, emotionally, physically, even socially, such children, they are at risk of dying during pregnancy or childbirth. And that some of the children that these young people give birth to, they are likely to die also due to lack of what? Lack of care, because their mothers were too young and they lack the maturity to take care of those children. Harmful traditional practices affect negatively the social well-being of people. Victims can be forced to leave education. Some of them are even outrightly denied education. Some families believe that educating a female child is a waste of resources. So such children are outrightly denied social and economic opportunities, access to education, and other opportunities in life. This results in isolation, limited career opportunities, and financial dependence. I hope you know what that means. Limited career opportunities. They do not have opportunities to become doctors, lawyers as their male counterparts. Financial dependence. They are unable to, when they don't have a good job, how do they make money? How do they make ends meet? So they continue to depend on the community, on their husbands. So let's look at some of the measures that can be adopted to prevent harmful traditional practices. 1. Awareness and enlightenment. Increase global awareness. Some people do not even know that some things they do are harmful to others. They believe those things are to honor their society or the family, or those things they believe they are doing the right thing to the person. Some of them believe that some of these practices are actually for the good of the victims. So for instance, the female genital mutilation, they believe is for purity. They believe is to ensure that the girl is not promiscuous. Meanwhile, they are causing harm due to their ignorance. So creating awareness and enlightenment is number one solution or ways of preventing harmful traditional practices. Increase global awareness through mass media, on TV, on radio, campaigns, workshops, seminars being organized to create awareness of the negative effects of some of the cultural practices of the people. Another one is education. Government should make education accessible to all. Education should be for everybody, even to the nooks and crannies of the society, to the lowest level of the country, to the villages, to the rural areas. Education should be accessible to everybody. Educated people will be able to reason right and will know that certain practices are harmful and they will never engage in such. So education is key to preventing harmful traditional practices. When education is made accessible to all, especially the villages, these people become educated, and an educated populace will avoid any harmful practices or any other practices that does not add value to human existence. Another one is government should enact laws eradicating harmful practices. Government should ban such practices. Government should enact laws against such practices, like the female genital mutilation. It is now a crime. Anybody caught will face the music. Anybody caught will be persecuted for such an act. It's now a crime to do that. And child marriage as well. Child marriage and female genital mutilation are criminal acts. So whoever is caught doing such is a criminal and will be persecuted. So government should enact laws on other harmful traditional practices in order to put an end to them. 4. Law enforcement agencies. Law enforcement agencies should be empowered to enforce laws on defaulters. Anybody that is found wanting, the law enforcement agencies, like the police, like the police and other law enforcement agencies that will be relevant in such fields, human rights activists, the police especially, they should be enforced to enforce law on whoever defaults, on whoever is caught in such an act. Number 5 is that non-governmental agencies, the NGOs, the government and the local community leaders, the obas, the emirs, the Ezes, and other social groups should help to support the eradication of harmful practices. So everybody should work hand in hand to put an end to these barbaric practices. So this is where we're going to stop today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.